Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another episode of 6 of the Best, where I pick 6 of my favourite films or performances from an actor. Today is the legend Conrad Veidt, another actor who got out of Germany and came to Britain. Another actor that sadly died way too young at the age of 50. Started off in silent films in Germany, was typecast because of his looks as a villain in quite a lot of films, and ironically playing Nazis in quite a lot of his films. In 1919 he made Different from the Others, which was actually a silent film about gay men, which for 1919 is pretty remarkable. So the first film I'm going to pick is a year later, and that's the Cabinet of Dr Caligari, and this is the recent released 4K from Eureka Masters of Cinema, and you can see Veidt on the cover. He's got a wonderfully expressionistic face, strangely enough, great length in his face, and even though he's not in the film a huge amount, this is more about Caligari himself and obviously the production design. But Veidt does leave a lasting impression with his expressions, shall we say. Next we're going to go to 1924, another silent film. This is The Hands of Orlac, which is also, strangely enough, on Eureka Masters of Cinema. 249, another relatively recent release. This is the classic pianist gets in a train accident, I think, in this one, and unluckily gets his hands severed, but doesn't die and gets replacement hands. But of course they're of a murderer, because as we know, in the replacement hand shop, generally murderers' hands are the only ones they have. Again, this has been done so many times. Mad Love by Peter Lorre, The Hand with Michael Caine, I think. Again, it's another wonderful, agonised, anguished performance by Veidt. And then 4 years later, another signature performance of a film that is kind of cited as an influence to the look of the Joker. It certainly has horror elements, and that's The Man Who Laughs, where as a child, which is actually a true story, as children, some theatrical troupes would give them the surgery to have a permanent insane looking grin in their face, which is generally quite disturbing, especially in the scenes with Veidt as a child. It's really quite disturbing. But this is the Flicker Alley release, because I kind of had to pick this up when it finally got a Blu-ray release from Flicker Alley, because it's one of my favourites of the silent era. But then again, Eureka Masters of Cinema, we're seeing a theme here. Eureka Masters of Cinema released it in Blu-ray in the UK. It's just such a moving film. The fact that he obviously looks like that, but then he falls in love with a blind girl. It looks wonderful. It's a rip-roaring story, and Veidt again plays this tortured character very well. And then we come to 3 sound films. One of my favourite Powell and Pressburger films that I wish would get a Blu-ray, The Spy in Black. And due to Pressburger's wonderful writing, you actually feel bad for Conrad Veidt, who plays a Nazi U-boat captain who wants to sink the British fleet, and goes up north where he believes he's meeting an undercover agent who's going to help him with the help of a disgruntled Navy officer, British Navy officer, and it perhaps doesn't go according to plan. It's brilliantly written, it's brilliantly paced, wonderfully acted, and again you actually root for Conrad Veidt to sink the British fleet, or maybe that's just me. And Veidt is just so good, and you do root for his character even though he's the baddie. And then 2 films from 1942, where again unfortunately he is playing the baddie. All Through the Night with Humphrey Bogart, where Conrad Veidt plays a Nazi. Again, another common theme, Nazis and Eureka Masters of Cinema. This is a strange little film. I did a random review on it a while ago, but it's well worth checking out. Bogart and Veidt are on top form. And then the slightly more famous film from 1942, Casablanca. There's lots of things to like in Casablanca, but my favourite is Conrad Veidt. He makes a delicious villain, and again he doesn't have a lot to do, or he doesn't have a lot of screen time. And there's other people in the film perhaps giving bigger performances, but Conrad Veidt is just so good and so cool and so Veighty. So that's my 6 films from, again, the way too short career of Conrad Veidt. But please let me know what your favourite 6 performances or films of Conrad Veidt are, because this series is supposed to be about you. And I look forward to reading your comments. So this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.